Good evening and welcome to the Board of Selectmen meeting. Today is Monday, April 26th. If you would all rise for our invocation. Poor Doug is a little under the weather, but thank you for coming.
Father, I'm praying for Georgetown, the Georgetown Board of Selectmen, and our other government and community leaders. Give us in authority wisdom in every decision, and help us to think clearly. Grant us discernment and common sense, so we'll be strong and effective leaders. Help us to lead and govern with integrity, and may our integrity guide us and keep us on track. Be merciful to us and help us follow your principles. Direct our steps according to your teaching, for our decisions have a great impact on all our lives. As always, be our defender and protector. Keep us always on guard. Help us to be strong and courageous, and strengthen us, giving us the wisdom we need. As always, we each pray to you in the manner we were each taught, just as I was taught to pray in the name of Jesus. Amen.
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 Follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Happy Monday. Let's see. We have on paper it looks like a light agenda. We'll see. But no, I'd like to make this a quick meeting as well here. You all, if you haven't signed just yet, the warrant's downstairs to be signed. We got a couple of correspondence here. I just want to make sure I get them out. So, Mike, there's a letter here from the Massachusetts Office on Disability, and it's basically asking us to adopt MGL, Chapter 40, Section, et cetera, to establish a commission on disability for Georgetown. It looks like to do this, though, this has to be done at a town meeting, and
we already did accept that. They want us to reinstate the Equal Access Commission, I think is what we used to have.
is it reinstating it?
Yeah, reinstating it, because we did have an Equal Access Commission, and they're not active. It just hasn't been active. We haven't had anybody who
So we need people for
it. And there are certain guidelines, as there has to be someone with a disability, with a family member with a disability.
Okay. Just the name is different. The Commission on Disability. That's what I was asking. So, did we have adopted the MGLs on this then, and now it's just reinstating this?
Yes.
What do we have to do as a board to officially do that, other than get people who are willing to go onto that commission?
Right.
So we probably need to do that first before we get it going. All right.
Ask for volunteers.
put it out there.
Okay. What does the commission do? I mean, it sounds pretty obvious, but maybe there's some. All right, I'll read also what it does maybe here. If anyone is interested. 1, it's advise and assist municipal offices in insurance compliance with federal and state disability laws. 2, attain the ability to allocate funds from handicap parking fines for the benefit of persons with disabilities. 3, provide research, information, advocacy, technical assistance to individuals, businesses, and organizations in disability-related matters. And finally, coordinate the activities of other local groups organized to meet the needs of persons with disabilities. So, if anyone is interested in joining our, Commission on Disability for Georgetown, please contact Janet at the Selectmen's office. All right. And there was another note here from, let's see, Representative Seth Moulton. Basically, it is a letter from for the state of Massachusetts advising municipalities that the Massachusetts Water Resource Authority just authorized a $100 million loan program to help communities replace aging drinking water infrastructure that may have lead in it. So I don't know what our, I guess, commission on disability for Georgetown, please contact Janet at the Selectmen's office. All right. And there was another note here from, let's see, Representative Seth Moulton. Basically, it is a letter for the state of Massachusetts advising municipalities that there's the Massachusetts Water Resource Authority just authorized a $100 million loan program to help communities replace aging drinking water infrastructure that may have lead in it. So I don't know what our our pipes are in terms of lead in town, but I have not heard any testing issues anytime in the last 9 years that I've been on this board. Anyhow, that's a communication we got. Let's see, anything else I got here? All right, I think that's all the correspondence I've got here. So the financial forecast study, our first item here. I know there's some good news to go with this, so why don't you share what you've done?
There is. Well, after our discussion a couple meetings ago, I was authorized to apply to the Community Compact program, and I just received that email today that, number one, we've been accepted into the program, and that we're eligible for a $10,000 grant to help pay for a financial forecasting study. We're kind of getting the cart before the horse because we haven't officially signed the community compact. We just received word that they would like the Board of Selectmen rep and myself to go to Middleton and sign the community compact with the Lieutenant Governor on May 10th. That's the day after election. We won't have an official chairman at the time. You know, I think we need one of you to attend that meeting with me. It's at 10:15 in the morning.
Mr. Chairman, I'll volunteer if you were so, what time?
10:15. And they said Middleton. I'm assuming it's the Middleton Town Hall, but I'll confirm that.
Yeah. I mean, I'll volunteer if nobody else wants to.
I can make it too, it doesn't.
Whatever, doesn't matter.
One board member would have to be authorized by the board to sign the compact.
Okay, then, if someone would, I guess, make a nomination then for someone to sign.
I'll move Dave to
Sign the compact.
Intent to, and what is it that I'm moving, to sign the community compact?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so the motion is to
I'll second it.
authorize Dave Surface to attend and sign the community compact service. And it's been seconded. All those in favor say aye?
Aye.
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 Abstain.
Okay.
You want to nominate a backup, just in case something does happen?
Yeah, I'll
'Cause
nominate Gary.
I don't know
Yeah.
that I don't know that we're meeting again before that, or are we?
We just have the short meeting on Monday.
Yeah.
I nominate Gary as the backup.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to nominate Gary as a backup to attend the community compact grant meeting and to authorize into signature on behalf of the Board of Selectmen. All those in favor say aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay.
And
All
then
right.
in the meantime, I'm going to send the proposal we received from Mark Abraham to get us, because they want to give us the $10,000 right away before the end of the fiscal year. So they said, send that even before we officially sign up.
Excellent. So,
So we'll be able to use the 10,000 to pay,
word it.
most of, well,
So now
over half of the
only up to
18,000.
8
It-
left over.
That's right. So that was very timely.
So, let me ask the board then, is it the board's pleasure to vote tonight then on the actual financial scope of work submitted to us from Mark Abrams? Or do you want to wait till you officially sign the compact? Doesn't matter to me.
I think you're gonna have, I would say it's probably, from a timing perspective, we should probably do that first and then go with the compact, right, Mike?
They want to
Wanna
see,
the signed contract before they commit.
well, not a signed contract, they just want to see the scope.
Scope, okay.
Um,
Okay.
Do you want to hold off so in case there's any changes to the scope from what they see?
No, I think it would be a stronger position for us if I can tell them that the board's already approved the scope.
Okay, speak.
Go ahead, Gary.
I'm a little hesitant about this, but seems as we've done the due diligence, gone out, gotten a matching state grant to do this. So I would just like to say that if the motion can be made, that I could vote in favor of this, as long as it's in the motion, that we are getting the grant from the state, and that if something should fall through there, then
So you want a contingent upon the
yeah, and in other words, we're
Awarding of
talking,
the
we're talking
grants.
8,000 on the town's end, you know, I don't want the state to fall through, and now we're on the hook for the other.
No, you're not signing the proposal. You're
Okay.
just approving the scope, so
So what
we can
the
speed up.
motion tonight could be just for the 8,000.
Not even that, just approve the scope of the study.
without any commitment to actually signing it.
It's, you're not, yeah, I'm not asking you to approve that contract with Mark Abrahams, just, this is,
Support.
so the compact could process our grant.
Okay.
Because they might, they can conceivably say, well, you know, we want you to get other prices also, but they want to see what our scope is.
So we're saying that the scope is what's contained in his letter,
Yes,
nothing more, nothing less?
correct.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the scope for the financial forecast, as submitted by Mark D. Abrams, CPA, in a letter dated March 29, 2016.
I get a second on that?
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion? All right, all those in favor of supporting the scope, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good job, Mike.
Yeah, great.
Thank you. And then, the other thing that is actually, it's on the agenda.
Just
We
the,
received there's a letter of intent for the Complete Streets program, which is also is going to be part of the community compact as well. But this one is separate for Complete Streets. We've done step one by sending representatives to the Tier 1 training. And now, to get us into Tier 2, we either have to develop the policy or send a letter of intent that we intend to develop the policy within the next year. That will, for community compact purposes too, get us into that best practice as well.
So, Mike, this letter here is a draft letter. This hasn't been sent yet, right?
Correct. No, it needs the signature of the chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the, give the authority to the chairman of the board, Phil Trapani, to sign a letter dated April 25th, 2016, as presented.
Second.
I have a motion, a second. Any discussion?
No, other than Peter Durkee and I went to the session over at Northern Essex. And the good thing about this is that this is just not one project. We can get up to $400,000 each and every year, as long as the programs exist.
Oh, so
Depending on what the projects are that we identify. They kind of like suggest you map out 3 to 5 projects for the future.
We'll also, by signing the letter of intent, we'll be eligible for a grant to help us develop the policy.
Oh, good.
All right.
We have a consultant help us out with that.
Yes.
All right, those in favor of the motion to authorize me to sign this, say aye.
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 All right.
think
Okay,
we did
Miss
that at
Tennant,
our
yeah.
last, see the letter.
Is this the, yeah, that's the official one.
Autograph mine, it might be nice.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Let's see, let's move on here on the Selectmen's report. Strategic planning update. So, Mike and I spoke last week, and we are looking at some dates right now to have another community session. The last community visioning session we had was reviewing our vision, our mission, and starting to codify some goals and objectives. And I think we did a pretty good job on that in a few different areas. And we've got to look a little beyond what those initial goals were and look at other things in the community as well. And I know we've been, it's been a few weeks since our last meeting, but with town meeting and elections coming up, we're going to wait till that was completed. So Mike, we got to find a Saturday morning. I think that seems to be
Seems to work well.
work all right. I mean, I know we got outdoor sports and stuff now, but I don't know when a better time or day or
Was this a
location.
community meeting again, did you say, or was
Yeah.
this the study? meeting?
Another community
Oh,
meeting,
okay.
yeah. I think what we want to do for our next is to, once again, just review the process, what we've done so far, what we've accomplished, the mission, the vision, some of the goals that we've stated there, and there's a few other goals that I think that need to come forward that we need to start thinking about in town as well. And if we look at our calendar, I'm just trying to look at some dates here. We're starting to get into May, right? So May 7th or the 14th. Before I make pick one of those dates, I got to check with the schools and make sure that others community stuff are not happening on those same
Yeah,
dates.
Mother's Day's the 8th, yeah.
But let me double check. We'll shoot for you the. So May 9th is the town meeting, right? So
9th is election, May
No,
2nd
I mean, the
is town
elections,
meeting.
the 2nd is town meeting. So it would either be the 14th then or the 21st. When's Mother's Day?
The
Mother's Day,
8th.
the 8th.
Oh, good. This is beyond that. I got away with that. All right. So we'll then.
Somebody's saying it.
So either the 14th or the 21st. I'll tentatively put those dates down, and we can, Mike, if you just check with Superintendent Jacobs on school on that Saturday morning, and then 9 to 12 would be great. Have you had a chance to connect with?
I've sent her a few emails, but I haven't heard back from her.
Okay. And what about Mike Hinchcliffe on the website?
No, I have not heard.
Okay, we'll have to update him then. He did send a scope of work to you, right?
Yes.
Did we approve that?
I haven't
No.
seen that.
Okay. Let's get that done, because I think he's done a lot of work already, and it's kind of a little after the fact here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So on this, are we using what was the last one we did, 2010? Vision session? That we came up with, have we compiled all that data and included in this newest one? Because I think most of it was probably the same.
No, that visioning meeting we had in 2010 was more of a budget priorities meeting.
Right.
What
We
was
do
the-
have it. We have all the information. Matter of fact,
What was the one that I went to on a Saturday in the cafeteria?
That was it.
Yeah, that was a
That was a
Budget
one?
prioritization.
It was talking about how they wanted the town to look.
It was,
It was asking people their priorities. And we ended up developing
instead
a
of
wish
cutting, we added about
wish
$10
list.
million worth of wish stuff added,
We're
but.
trying to say, what could you get by
Yeah,
without?
so we have that, and I've put on the Dropbox site, I've put all of the all the plans that I know I have in town. I don't know, Janet, you started that Dropbox site, right? So Doug's on that as well? So if you go there, I've dropped in there the strategic plan that we did back in 2000 and.
Yeah, there were like 5 items.
Yeah, so the one we did with Suffolk University, that exercise, I put a number of
That
other.
was '03, and then we
03.
had an '07 update.
Update.
Right, the master plan is up there, there's, the affordable housing production plan is there, there's 4 or 5 other plans that I put there, so what I'm trying to do is go back to all those plans and look at what the recommendations were, and as much as my knowledge, check off what we've already done and what's still left to do on some of those plans. We've been kind of working, whether intentional or purposeful or not, we've actually been working toward knocking off a lot of those different recommendations and objectives. So we just have to look back to see what was not done and why, and if it's, if it's continued on what some of the wishes are with the community going forward. So we'll update the town on that. So either the 14th or the 21st for our next strategic planning community session. All right, so let's move on to the annual and special town meeting, and then we'll talk about the elections. Beverly, you want to come up and have a seat? You can share with us your preparation, any questions that you have, anything we should know ahead of time, and how we can make this a great meeting once again.
It'll always be a great meeting.
Of course.
At this point, I'm ready to go, and it's just a matter of making sure that everybody else is all set and the people know that next Monday, the 2nd of May, is town meeting. It begins at 7, and we will be opening the doors at about 6:15. Make sure that everybody has time to get in. It's not a really long warrant,
Not at all.
and so the meeting should be of a reasonable length.
Can never predict
You
these
never
things,
know.
but
I
you're
said
right.
reasonable.
Yeah.
You don't know what'll pop up.
Oh, I know. And it's always the smallest detail that seems to be the one that takes the longest.
So this is next week,
Yes,
right?
week from tonight.
All right. In terms of advertising for this, Mike, out there, have we started that process of cable, and I know on the light down at the end of Elm and 133?
I think I emailed Peter about it
Make sure
last
that
week,
that's
that he was
done.
gonna,
Okay.
put it up there, and they had some other signs going around town
Are
that they're
they?
gonna put.
Okay.
And it is on the website already, and the warrant is up on the website.
Okay, great.
I got us some airtime on WNBP last Thursday morning, talking about our town meeting. So, that's the second time we've gotten a little airtime to talk about upcoming
Good.
town meeting.
Wow, you're like a celebrity.
So we hope that well, you hope that it still reaches, there's some people watching that may not get the internet or cable TV or something, but might just be home listening to the radio.
A lot of people listen
No,
to the
lots of people
station.
listen.
Wow, all right. Well, if you're in good shape with it, we're in good shape with it.
We're ready.
All right. Is there anything else, or?
No, just a reminder.
All right.
Thank
Beverly,
you.
well, we're looking forward to next Monday night at 7
Thank
o'clock.
you very much. We'll see you all there.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Beverly. Okay. On the town warrant, Mike, the only thing that I know of on the top of my head of just clarification was a note that I've been exchanging with Carl Schroeder regarding the hunting rules and regulations, and the language had changed from one of the previous town warrants, and his issues his and his board's issues that he thought that he would have in supporting this was the language here that basically says that hunting or trapping on all town-owned land shall be prohibited except with permit issued by the Board of Selectmen in connection with public health, safety, and welfare. And his contention over that, and Chief, if you could actually come on up, because I know that you've
Yeah.
submitted this.
New language from John Eichman.
Was the fact that he felt his board and himself were concerned that the permit would come from the Board of Selectmen without any, I guess, oversight of whoever controls that piece of property in town. So before we go into how we can fix that, Chief, if you would help us just, for the community's sake, again, just share with us the intent behind your submission and what this solves for the town and for yourself.
Absolutely. Back in 2013, early 2014, we had begun to experience a lot of calls, complaints concerning hunting activity on conservation land that abuts various neighborhoods and the like. And so we began attempting to enforce, monitor those situations. Some of those contacts with between folks got a bit contentious concerning people's rights to hunt, as well as other people's rights to use conservation land in a passive recreation mode,
Yeah.
hiking, biking, and things like that. Although hunting is a passive recreation activity by definition. So what I did was I met with the Conservation Commission.
Can I just pause you right there?
Sure.
I'm just gonna, I don't have it in front of me, but I will say that Carl was very clear that according to the conservation bylaws in Georgetown, that hunting was not considered was considered an active
Correct.
recreation.
I was going to get to that portion.
Okay. just to
So,
make sure.
so what we did was, I had met with the conservation agent
Yeah.
to try to get some clarity relative to the conservation issues and boundaries and things like that. Worked with George Kaminsky, who's a bit of a knowledgeable gentleman concerning our conservation lands and protection of our conservation lands. And various regulations and, not bylaws, but regulations exist dating back all the way to 1999 in the open space
Yep.
document. And leading up to my meeting in 2014, the Water Department in 2011 also issued regulations concerning hunting on the property that they're responsible for. And the regulation is very simple. It's not a permit. It's that under Mass General Law right now, to hunt on private property, you need landowner's permission, written notice on your person. As antiquated as it sounds, that's the law. So when we got to the public land question, and specifically conservation land, there was some disagreement concerning whether people could hunt on conservation land, could not hunt on conservation land. I reached out to the environmental police. Their interpretation of 13159 was a slippery slope. So what I did was I then worked with the Conservation Commission, and they adopted a similar regulation concerning conservation lands, although it was mirrored in some older documents, to say that in order to hunt or get permission to hunt on conservation land, you would need a written note from the board. So fast forward to that, there was still some strife concerning how this was going to be handled. So I asked Mike to ask town council how we deal with these different regulations, different committees, different commissions, different land parcels.
Yeah.
The land is not very well marked because you're talking hundreds of acres of land. It's difficult to know where you are in the woods when the police are dealing with these issues. So town council recommended to us that we create a bylaw which would shore up Mass General Law, get some local control over how you want to deal with this hunting question. And I had submitted a draft, and I guess it ultimately became question 17.
Yes.
And that draft did not mention the word permit, because it's not a permit, because a permit requires application and regulation. This was to get a written note from the people who were in charge of these properties. I guess when this came back, after it was vetted through town council or whoever, this question 17 looks nothing like the one that I had written, because I never mentioned the Board of Selectmen. My intent was very specific to the people who have care, custody, and control of those properties. Conservation land, Conservation Commission, water lands, Water Commission, light, and so on and so forth. When this was put on the website last week, my phone lit up concerning the questions with hunting, as did yours. You and I had a pretty intense conversation about it, as I think a couple of the other members. So that's where we are with it. The intent was very simple, is that when the police were summoned to these areas and attempt to mediate and negotiate what's going on out there, if we knew that someone had permission to be on a conservation parcel, there is one parcel that is specifically no hunting allowed. One of our bylaws is Lufkin Brook. Lufkin Brook, it specifically says, because there was some federal funding, how that all developed, there is no hunting, no one can allow hunting, there's nothing that can go on out there, so it's very definitive. But with regard to all of these conservation parcels, some of which are only 30 feet wide, people have right of egress and entry into these areas. Hunters absolutely have a right during appropriate seasons to hunt in certain areas, private land, but there's always been this question of our public land, so there was no harm intended when I submitted the article. I thought we were just trying to tighten up some loose language, and it's been one of the most challenging things I've done in the last year and a half.
No good deed goes unpunished.
You know, someone has said that about a half a dozen times to me.
So, and Mike will have to come back here, but in my conversations with Mike, this was vetted through town council. And I guess the question for me is and the reason it was changed here is because the only permit issuing body in town for public land uses is the Board of Selectmen. So,
I don't know where the word permit came from, because all it was
a letter, a
Written-
note, right? Written permission.
yeah, the language was written permission from that authority. The word permit does echo Board of Selectmen authority and things like that, so I don't know why that, and I don't know if the vetting of the warrant article was done by our town council, Tom, who runs our town meetings and is familiar with our operations. He was the one who gave me this interpretation of 13159, and that's how we developed the language, so I don't know where that crossed. And I could see why the Conservation Commission reached out to you, because when I read the new Article 17, which I was not familiar with, it very specifically states that there's a permit issued by your board, not these other commissions, so.
So I got the question is do they need a permit, or do they need written permission from whoever's in care and custody?
If I can cut in?
Yeah, go ahead.
If I'm reading this wrong, though, I mean, this is, he was sort of trying to come up with something that would allow hunters on there. What I'm reading from what town council gave us, and I'll break in, I think we need to see chapter 68 of the town's general bylaws, but it says, hunting and trapping on town-owned land, hunting or trapping on all town-owned land shall be prohibited.
Period.
So, I mean,
Well, that's-
that would be, and then it says, except with a permit issued by the Board of Selectmen in connection with public health, safety, or welfare.
Well,
But it doesn't say for passive recreation. So
I
see
agree.
this as completely changing it and prohibiting it.
And this, you talking 68, section 2, concerning hunting in Georgetown?
Well, no, I haven't seen chapter 68, so I think, you know, we need to sort of probably look over.
Yes, I have it here.
Okay, but,
I think that if you look back to the conservation, this open space document, I don't know what in context, it was voted and approved by the Conservation Commission back in 1999. It's very long, it's a lengthy document, and it specifically says, Georgetown Conservation Land Policy adopted by the Conservation Commission, March of 1999. And there are specific rules and permits for use of Georgetown conservation lands under Section A, Paragraph 3. It says, no fires, no camping, no hunting, no trapping, no firearms. But this document, when I worked with Tom, they weren't connected. This was, because then it was referenced down in Section C, the commission may waive any general rule or adopt a different or additional or special rules and permitting procedures for individual parcels or groups or parcels of land or municipal conservation land. So they say no, but then they say, well, wait a minute,
Yeah.
we may be able to take a second look at it. So again, you know, I'm the enforcement authority, and I think that's probably why our government says we have our enforcement authority and we have our legislators. And lesson learned, you know, we have a lot of regulation, but this was just to tighten up that one hunting issue concerning whether we want people hunting in Georgetown Conservation Land or we don't. That's really the question. Or the water department currently allows hunting, but they go through the water department. There is a letter drafted by Lou Mamelette, their manager, who gives, now I don't know how he gives them out, it's not my concern. People are allowed to hunt out in that property so long as they have that note with them and they get permission. And Lou notifies the department. He's very diligent with, I know that he works very well with the department concerning his process.
When I spoke with our conservation agent today, he told me that hunting is allowed on conservation land, but with permission from conservation.
And that's the letter that I have
And
in
then-
2014.
But then we have other documents now that are refuted. So we're like up in, it's just,
An update, Mike?
Yeah.
Hot off the press.
Right.
Yes. Knowing the issues that the Conservation Commission has, I asked legal to reword the motion. We can't change the what's posted, but by motion, he feels we can clarify the warrant article in this motion by adding basically what you are the licensing authority. The Conservation Commission, any commission can't issue licenses, only the Board of Selectmen can.
So the question comes down to, what is a license at this point? And what's a permit, and what's a note for permission, right? And as the chief was just saying, there are some town departments here who are giving allowing, with a written note of permission today, to hunt on land, a town-owned land, and under their care and custody, which in this case is the water department. So I mean, from how formal do we have to be? Do we have to have a public a permit on public record that for the individual, or do we get, or can it just be a written notice from that board or commission that's responsible for the care and custody of that particular land?
Somebody would have to go to whoever has care and custody of the land, and what we can do is develop a license application that they have to sign off on first, and then bring to the Board of Selectmen to approve the license.
so would there be a fee affixed to this?
It's up to us.
The Board of Selectmen fix the fees.
No, I know that, but are we suggesting that a fee be affixed to the
We
application?
haven't, no, all we're suggesting is there's gonna be a $100 fine if they don't get one.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, then, I mean, for us to be in compliance with either law or process here, the way it should work is that they will be issued permission from whoever's in care and custody today of that particular land, conservation, or the water department, or other. And after they get the approval from that board or commission, they have to come here and we have to issue a license for them to hunt on that
Yes.
property.
That way, the police department, when somebody calls and says somebody's out here with a rifle,
Yeah.
if they have the proper license, then they can hunt, as long as they're within the legal limits.
Yeah, go ahead.
Gary had his hand
Oh, sure. Go ahead, Gary.
It's for the chief, and that is basically that if this is passed over, do you see this as a problem? Because this,
At this point, no. I think that,
give us.
again, the intent of bringing the article forward was following town council's recommendation. I think it became somewhat of a hot button concerning whether you're pro-hunting or anti-hunting. That wasn't the case at all. It was just trying to shore up what we have is, some variances in our regulation. I mean, I have a letter right here from Hunting on Conservation Land, signed on October 16th of 2014, advising me, my office, and the police department, that the commission voted unanimously that no hunting will be allowed, this would help, on any town-owned conservation land without written permission from the Conservation Commission. So that's in 2014. I have another very similar adoption in 2011 from the Water Department. Those are the two primary holders of our land where people would hunt. And
I don't think it's an issue in terms of hunting or not. I think the issue is now just it's a control issue over
well,
property.
the calls that we were dealing with, people were getting contentious about hunting in general, hunting in neighborhoods, access through conservation land and things like that. And just trying to be proactive to try and assist the officers who are responding to these calls. In addition to that, being in the woods, our conservation lands are not marked. You could be standing on your property or town property. I'm allowed to hunt here and you're not allowed to hunt here, and it's just, all of that wasn't a good mix. And then,
I think in practicality and actual incidents that have happened.
Oh, yeah.
Is people are crossing over private property, cutting through people's yards with, full camouflage and shotguns to go hunting and parking up on their lawns. It's happened. I mean,
Yeah.
I've called on it. We had an incident, a couple of incidences where people are parking on private property and walking through people's yards,
And then we've
dragging
had-
a dead deer through people's backyards. I mean,
exactly, and then we've had folks actually complying with the hunting regulation, but causing what neighborhoods perceive to be a disturbance concerning people with firearms, concerning animals and the like. And the question at hand then, in 2013 and 14, actually I found some emails dated back to 2010 from one of my sergeants. We were just trying to clarify whether were people authorized and allowed to hunt on certain conservation properties. We know Lufkin Brook is off limits. It's posted as such. And moving forward, this is now my fourth year trying to deal. I just wanted to get some handle on it, so.
You're doing a great job.
Oh, yeah.
If I can make another comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is gonna get ironed out, I'm sure. Chief Cudmore doesn't seem to let anything go. He likes to see things through to finish. But
Try.
one of the things that I've gotta mention is that 2 weeks ago, we voted on this, and we didn't even know this change was on here. And I'm
No.
not trying to say anything. I mean, we got told, we had one that was in our packet, and then we had another warrant that said final. And it was on there, but we didn't have that one until we got up here at 7 o'clock in the evening. We didn't, okay, so it was completely different from the one in our packet, and obviously getting here at 7 o'clock in the evening doesn't give us time to go through this page by page. And I don't know when it got received in the office. But we need to improve our policy where just like somewhere on one of these things are underlined. We need, when this is changed, we can't just get handed, said, here's the new one. We need to start seeing the changes.
We normally do. You're not wrong. It was an oversight. It was changed, and we just didn't catch it because we asked and we talked about any changes the last time we
If we
opened and
highlight
closed
the
this.
changes, underline the
Yeah,
changes in
yeah,
some
yeah.
way, whoever changes it needs to highlight it so that when we're looking at it, we know that, okay, there's a change here. Now I don't gotta go through two of these things, which are 19 pages long, word by word to try to find them. I mean,
I would, and I'm not
So,
speaking for Mike and Janet,
again,
but
I'm saying-
my gut tells me is that they're getting this information in as quick as they can from turning around. We just got this from our attorney,
I agree.
at 6:43 p.m.
Yeah,
Okay, so, again, I mean, I'm sure you guys are doing your best to get us the updated and let us know the changes here, but this was one that we just didn't catch, and that's why I got caught off guard too from Carl Schrader as well, and just trying to.
I could see why people were upset. I originally, I was sitting in my office reading from the old document, defending the article, but then I
And then I
logged
read
on the
you-
website.
and then I read you the article, and I
no,
said-
no, Mr. Chairman, that's not what it says. And I go on the website, I'm like, It does say that. And then that was the beginning
Yeah.
right there, so we're like, well, I
Are
said.
you all right if taking this up in the fall?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we've survived hunting for hundreds of years here, and I think we can do it for a couple of more months. I would just like, though, if the driver is the Board of Selectmen, because Mike had told me that, articles that are accepted, and because I first wanted to withdraw, and he says, you should see the board about it.
Yeah.
That we put all the players at the table. I would like to see the Conservation Commission and the Water Department, and even the Light Department for that matter, just to ensure that we're all on the some page.
And perhaps a representative from Fish and Wildlife, so that, to help
Same,
us get
you
through
know,
this. I mean,
um,
they have certain rights, and we don't wanna leave
Yep.
them out. If
Yep.
we're-
Hunters have very specific rights concerning some of the issues that people were fighting, and the foundation of those rights were, being able to enter private land, taking an animal out that was hunted on that land to get it through. I mean, there's all kinds of things that people can do, and absolutely. And my intent was not to make it hunting versus no hunting, and it turned into that a bit, and I think that that's not where we need to be.
Well, I also, with the rail trail coming on at some point, I mean, I think the Fish and Wildlife is probably their biggest abutter of what's gonna be the rail trail at some point down in the northern end of town. And I think we may even start thinking of that as we go along. I don't know if they.
Well, there's just a lot of
I don't know if
conflicting
they've
use
worked on
of
that
our land,
as a rail
and,
trail,
and,
but.
and we're dealing with it on the enforcement and the conflicting use of land concerning what I call passive recreation, biking, hiking, and bird watching, and all those things. I mean, we've had to deal with the ATV issue with the state, which we dealt with concerning that versus horses versus hikers. This hunting element is just another component of people trying to use parcels of land for what they believe is their recreation.
So actually, you had something you want to say?
I have a caution, is that the Board of Selectmen is not a land management board. If hunters go to the respective party, like the electric company or the water department or Conservation Commission, and they have that entity's permission to use that property for the stated purposes, there's no reason that they need to come before the Board of Selectmen to get permission or submit an application or anything else. It's just duplicating a process that's already taken place within those entities that have already granted the permission. And I would caution us from becoming a land use board. I'd hate to get stuck in another parcel left type situation.
Well, I don't think we're a land use board. I think we are the regulatory body overseeing the land use boards in town. And at the end of the day, we're the ones who have the permitting authority. They don't.
Well, we weren't talking about a permit.
Mhm.
We were talking about people that had permission. That's all they needed was a note saying they had permission to utilize that land. And the chief was just looking for a housekeeping item so that his organization had the authority to enforce the guidelines that were already in place. I don't think we need to add any more guidelines. We just need to say, you need to have that and give the chief the opportunity to have enforcement of those guidelines, because he's the one that's gonna get the calls.
So I had asked this Mike, it's a question to Mike, and Mike, you're clear that this board has got to be the issuance of any permit to allow hunting on any town-owned land.
You're the permitting authority for the town for all licenses, all permits,
But I
regardless of whether it's hunting or other kinds of uses. And I think there needs to be a central authority, because you have all these different land use boards and utility companies. What basis are they making for allowing or disallowing somebody to hunt? If they don't know you, will they, and this happens.
I've been asked
And if someone
how
had-
these notes are given out, and I said, look,
Yeah.
I am the police. I don't know who's allowed or who's not allowed, and that's a regulatory issue on the people who are in care, custody, control of the property. So that's why I did not venture, and Mike's absolutely right, and we've talked about that. The process by which you get this note, the magic note, I don't know how that happens.
What other uses require a permit for water department, electric department, conservation? I
Parks
don't
and
know,
Rec
I
are
don't
in
think
here,
there's
too.
any.
So,
Mhm.
Mr. Chairman, if I could stick my 2 cents into.
Well, I just asked a question.
Yeah, the
Well, I was
Park
gonna
and
give
Rec
you
doesn't-
some more information
Oh,
on
okay.
that, Doug. I think, there was also, what about Parks and Rec? They issue permits. They issue permits to use the park to the softball league.
Yeah, but those are supposed to come through to us at the end of the day, aren't they?
You have signatory lines, as do I.
They use it to GAA, they use it to,
Yeah, but we have signatory on that as well. They
never
can
done
issue.
one. The only one permit we've ever signed, and I signed it as the chairman, was for the, the movie to be filmed at American Legion. And I was the only person that signed that permit.
Well, we get permits down there for a number of things, like the music and
Oh, yeah,
some of the,
okay.
you know.
The fact that they don't do it doesn't mean it's right.
Right.
On the form, it says there's a police, there's a line for the
Signature
police,
for me
there's a
to
line
sign.
for, that's, adhering to the policy is the issue, not that fact.
So,
I don't wanna create an unreasonable,
Well, no, we're just changing.
permitting, but I guess the question, and this will go, I
We
guess
have a
this gets to
permit for horse riding.
a deeper question that, I'm gonna stop this conversation, because we're gonna pass over this here. But if this board ends up having to issue licenses, how do we know, like, the folks who are, hunting are worthy of a license or
don't.
not? Okay.
Don't.
And should we?
If somebody has a license to carry a firearm or a firearms identification card, they've been vetted to have that is a license to have the
Right.
firearm and the weapon. When someone goes to hunt, if someone wanted to come and hunt on my property, I have acreage of property, if someone said, may I hunt on your property, and I give them a note to hunt, and I don't know them, but they're licensed to carry a firearm, that's it. They're allowed to
They need
to
a
hunt.
hunting license?
There's no license that per se, you have to be within season
Yeah.
for certain
Okay, so-
animals, and I'm not a hunter, and I don't purport to know the ins and outs of hunting,
Yeah.
but I am the enforcer of our regulations and our bylaws. The interesting part about this, what we have found through town council, is there are many Massachusetts general laws that are then backed by a local bylaw.
Right.
And that seems to be more and more common today. If you look at civil fingerprinting, if you look at ice cream vendors, if you look at all of these things, and this, I would assume from town council's perspective, is the same thing. There is mass general law that dictates hunting and regulatory guidelines concerning hunting. But if cities and towns adopt a specific bylaw for their needs, it just gives foundation to that, if there's any gray in that law whatsoever. And that's what I see to be more common than not with regard to putting forth bylaws that really are mass general laws. Just like that civil fingerprinting I mentioned, we had to put, that took a year and a half, and then the vendor situation, so I think it's part and parcel to that, but Mike's absolutely right, we have a lot of authorities, as we all know in our government, and everybody has certain control over certain things. At this
Okay.
point,
Don,
yes, sir.
wasn't the state, a branch of the state, I don't know if it's Fish and Game or what, weren't they incorrectly advising hunters that they were allowed to
Well, that-
hunt on municipal land?
Yeah, what was happening was, there were people who were using the environmental police website and speaking with the environmental police concerning the ability to hunt on public land. And somebody, by way of definition, said, well, public land is Camp Dennison. Well, it is, but it's under the authority of the Georgetown Conservation Commission. And we don't want people hunting on Camp Dennison property when the people out there sleeping in cabins and hiking. Those are the type of conflicting uses that we're dealing with. And I have notes from these boards that say they don't want hunting on their property, but you need enforcement authority, and then you need some type of way of penalty and a disposition phase of this.
But that was my question that I would have, is, right now as it stands, if somebody's illegally hunting on one of these properties, what's the fine? Is it defined in our bylaws right now?
It's not.
You just boot them out? Can you
Yeah, I
hit 'em
mean-
with a
I mean, we have-
trespassing charge? I mean,
Well, not even that, because if someone is hunting because they have right to believe they can hunt on specific property, it's a judgment call for the police officer who responds, depending on the complaint.
Right.
Depending on the circumstances, that will all dictate that enforcement action. As of right now, the biggest question is, do we want people hunting on Georgetown conservation land? Are they authorized to do so? Are they legally able to do so? And is there a conflicting use issue if you have conservation land posted for hiking during, you're gonna close it for hiking or hunting, or, those are the questions that are posed to me. And I'm not saying I have the answers to them.
Okay, let's do this. kick this can down the road, so I don't have to deal with it.
Why is this
Maybe I'll
thing
say-
right now?
Is this falling the way of committee? Because once you say the word committee, that means it's gone forever, right?
If you can work with Mike and the board here over the next, after town meeting into the summer, and see if you can codify this and clean this up, and help us clean it up and make it reasonable for hunters. Again, I don't want to put any undue burden on Hunter, but at the same time, I want to make sure that there's not any problem if it is, a permit is being issued for an individual, and that it's done legally and correctly, and you can enforce that permit, so. All right, we'll move
All right,
on.
thank
Before
you
you
very much.
leave, you gave us a certificate of adoption.
Yes, I did.
Okay, now first when I read the first title, I thought you were like wanted to adopt a dog or something for us, but
No, sir.
it's not that exciting. This is a resolution adopting the Merrimack Valley Region Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan update,
Right.
in 2016. Give us the Cliff Notes here.
About 2 years ago, we began our work on our hazard mitigation plan for the town of Georgetown. And then Merrimack Valley handles all of those mitigation plans for other cities and towns, 13, I believe. And then, so you have your own plan, and then there's the regional plan. Well, it took a number of months, actually almost a year, to get these other
Yeah.
regional plans, these other communities get their plan to the region. We have now accomplished that goal. You appointed, at my request and Howard's request, a hazard mitigation committee, which is comprised of all your department heads, so that we don't have to establish another committee. You can see the tone with the committee.
What are you trying to say?
No, I'm just saying that, just another committee. So we now have that. We got the plan with your adoption. Our committee has already voted in the affirmative on that plan. We needed them to approve it through FEMA and MEMA, and then your adoption of said plan will then go into that regional sector, and then everybody's on board.
All right,
Cliff notes.
thank you. If I could entertain a motion, if you want to get into discussion, you can. Anyone comfortable? Adopting the Merrimack Valley Region Multi-Hazardous Mitigation Plan update?
So this is Merrimack Valley Planning's plan.
Traditionally, this would start in the planning department. We had started in the planning department, and with Howard's departure, I saw this coming. I just didn't want it to fall by the wayside again. We've done the work, and we've developed a plan. The plan has been reviewed by all department heads who have a stake: highway, water, light, police, fire, health, Board of Health and Conservation, all sit on that committee. And as generic as that document looks, the hazard mitigation plan is about 40 pages and deals with stormwater management, deals with preparations for and predictive planning for certain things in our community, and Peter's grants and so forth for all the culvert work he did. It's all part of that plan.
So we would just be adopting this
Right,
as Georgetown's
that's correct.
hazard mitigation.
And then I will hand deliver that to Merrimack Valley, to Joe Cosgrove, who is our representative, so that Georgetown can, our box will be checked that we're now in compliance.
So moved.
So I need a motion to authorize the selectmen, the chairman to sign this.
I think Gary just moved that.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the table to authorize the chair to sign the resolution adopting Merrimack Valley Planning Region Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan update. God, that's a mouthful. And we have a second. All those in favor say aye?
Aye.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chief, and you have a wonderful evening. All right, I'm gonna go a little out of order here. Pam, you wanna come up and we can hopefully work through this and get you out of here this evening? All right. Pam, for the record, will you just give me your name and address again?
Pamela Ann Holmes at 46 Hillside Avenue, Winthrop, Mass.
Okay, so you are getting closer and closer to opening up Tin Lizzie's Bar and Grill over at the former Par 97 building.
Yes.
All right. And you need a bunch of licenses here, including a common victual and automatic amusement and weekly entertainment licenses here. All right. Guys, if you guys have any, if you guys want to make a motion, we can open up for discussion.
All right,
You
Mr.
can-
Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the following licenses for Tim Lizzie's Bar and Grill, common victualler, automatic amusement, Sunday and weekly entertainment, all to expire December 31st, 2016.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Discussion.
Yeah, David, did you say to expire December 2016?
Yes, I did.
If I may,
Sure.
automatic amusement, I think that you've got like the golf machines down there. You're not gonna have any of them arcade type things where there's gonna be hunting and shooting at a thing. Just a golfing thing.
There was 7 of the simulators in the
Yeah.
building. We're only gonna keep 3 of them.
3 of them?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So that's basically what that.
Yes, and then we're going to get, there's a golden tea type of, I guess kind of an arcade game where, I guess it's more like a golf game. It's quite popular in local pubs, around. And, we were gonna probably get another arcade game as well we haven't decided what kind, but we wanted to get another one at least.
So you want to get up to 7 of those?
No, we only wanted to, we're gonna
Oh,
do the
because
3,
on this it says 7.
right, cause we're gonna do 3 pool tables.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
And then, we'd like to do 3 pool tables, 1 jukebox, which they already have a jukebox there now. We have to replace it with the people that we're going to, do business with. And the 3 golf simulators. Yes. And then bring in golden tea and then another game. Is there any hesitation with any specific games?
I never heard of golden tea, so I don't know.
I never did either. Andre told me
I was
about
just
it.
making
It's
amusement, I
hysterical.
was making
I
amusement
was-
myself.
Oh,
I think Phil got it, but.
oh, based on the hunting back
Yes.
then? They
I
do
wasn't
have a
even
big-
gonna start. I'm
They
like,
do have a big, I think it's called buck hunt or something.
Yeah, see,
which
that's
is
why you-
quite popular,
Oh, God.
but I mean, I don't know.
You might have to get another-
Like,
you might
based on
have
what
to
just
get
happened, I
another
don't know. I have to tell Andre, I don't know, we gotta think
Might need a
about it.
permit just to get in the restaurant.
I know,
you bring in Pac-Man, I might come back down there.
He's dating himself.
but I mean, is there any hesitation if that was a suggestion to bring in that type of game? Like, does anyone have an issue with that? Cause I don't wanna cross anybody's,
No,
I
no.
just, if to say that the weekly entertainment, you were here 2 weeks ago when, some of the neighbors had concerns before, so.
Yes.
And we went over that
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, but just to maybe remind you.
yes,
Yeah, for the noise factor.
yes,
yeah.
right.
We love to see you, but not here. Right.
Right.
All right. Any other questions or comments?
Well, I'm looking forward for it to open.
Will you tell the public when your plans are in terms of opening, so we can all get excited? You have a
Yes.
chance to tell the
Yes.
17 people watching TV, or the
Oh.
17,000, I'm not sure which
Not,
one.
not yet, not yet. Hopefully probably the middle of May.
Middle of May, okay.
Yes, and we want to have, I don't know where the TV is, but.
It's
It
on.
finds you.
They're looking right at you.
Looking at you right now.
Okay, we wanted to have a soft opening first to kind of
Yep.
wean out all the kinks and
Uh-huh.
stuff like that. But then when we have a big grand opening, we're gonna really publicize that. So we're excited about it. We're nervous, but excited.
And the food will be more pub-type food, or,
Correct, yes.
and then
No 97 pizzas.
different meals?
Yes, yes, different entrees, burgers, sandwiches. We're gonna have a few pizzas. We're gonna have pasta dishes. So we're opening up a little for everybody.
Okay.
Fun kids menu, and we're hoping that everyone will be open to it and enjoy it.
I hope so.
We're excited for it. We're
I
excited.
hope you're there for a long time.
I
It
hope so
seems to
too.
be
I hope so.
You will.
Quite a
God,
path going through there.
I hope so. So
Will.
All right, good.
All right, Pamela. So, okay, well, we have a motion for the licenses that were aforementioned. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. We're looking forward to your opening.
Great.
okay.
Thanks for
Thank
your
you very
patience
much.
this evening.
Oh no, that was actually really interesting. So.
It's been a well-known destination, I will say, for years,
yeah.
that spot. I mean,
Yes.
it is a good place. I've met people down in Florida who say, "Oh, I used to stop at that place in Georgetown when I come
Yeah, it's a
from
really,
Georgetown."
it's a
I mean,
great
yeah.
location, so
it
I'm
is.
hoping that with the right business model, it will work, you know?
1967, 68, we'd come from Beverly, go to the
Are you
Pine Speedway
hiring?
and then stop at.
Yeah.
Yes, we're in the
The
process
three
of
Gs.
hiring servers, bartenders, cooks, so.
So,
We are.
who should they, I'll put this out on the parents and Facebook.
Actually, we
is
have
there?
a Facebook page, Tin Lizzie's.
And Lizzie's.
.com.
Yes, and we have our website isn't fully complete yet, just Facebook is up right now.
Oh, you're on Facebook.
Yes, and it's the
Tim
TINN.
Lizzie's.
TINNLIZZYS.
Awesome.
ZZYS.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
I'll let everyone know as
Oh,
well.
that's great.
Good.
So, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome, Pam.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
And I'll email you later. Thank you.
All right, have a nice evening.
Have a nice night.
Mike, before I forget, there aren't any changes on special town or a meeting or the annual town meeting warrants from the last meeting? Anything change?
Not from the last meeting.
Okay,
Right.
just double check it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it posted becoming any changes?
Can I ask, when will we get the figures?
Yeah, I'm just gonna ask them.
We just got the motions back from legal today, so I didn't want to bring them without
Okay.
having you
Very
able to
good.
read them. How's that?
Probably the best move.
Yeah.
All right. Mike, budget update anyhow? Is there anything you want to say to us?
Well,
We're found money.
we're winding down FY16. We'll need a few line item transfers. I don't see a need for doing any reserve fund transfers. So we'll be able to shift things around. One thing is the difference between the electric and the gas. We're definitely in deficit for the electric, but we've got $50,000 in gas because it was so warm this winter. So we'll just cover that with that. And we have a slight shortfall in health insurance. But like I said, we'll be able to cover that with a transfer from somewhere else.
Okay. You want to give us an update on the health insurance
Well, I finally nailed down our Meyer rep for a date. Now I was trying to contact the teachers union rep. I don't see any need to bring the whole insurance advisory / PEC together, because if they aren't going to go for it, it doesn't matter what the others say.
Right.
So I'm trying to set up my Meyer rep's available Thursday at 3, and I haven't heard back from the teachers union rep yet. I just contacted him this afternoon on email, so I didn't expect to know by tonight. Hopefully by tomorrow I'll know.
So what would your expectations be from that meeting?
Well, if they think it's a good idea and you know, we can actually use $90,000 worth of the savings, we can restore that much money back to the school budget. It might be too confusing and too late to do it for next Monday, but we can make the adjustments in the fall.
Right.
But we would have to start the health insurance the end of this month, the end of May. That's when the sign-up is.
Okay. All right. Well, at the I guess at town meeting, before we meet, you can let us know. Actually, why don't you send an email to the board with just the results of your conversations with them
Absolutely.
later this week.
Mhm.
The Senior Community Center, what's going on? Any update there? We should know about?
We've had a delay in getting the contract actually put together, let alone signed. I think I've got, well, the architect was supposed to put it together after, legal has reviewed it, and we're using AIA, Architect Institute of America forms, and only the architect has access to them. And he told me via email that he'd have it for me tomorrow, and that then we can get the general contractor to sign it and probably bring it to you. I doubt we'll have it by next Monday, but by the following meeting. And we have really all summer to work on that. It's not holding up anything.
So, what was the bid? How much did he come in with?
Oh,
Or is that still being negotiated?
no, the bid is the bid. It was, I think it was $292,000. But that didn't include any of the Whittier or school parts.
I can't imagine what he's doing that cost $292,000. We have to pay prevailing wage from him?
Absolutely. That's what he's doing.
So he's gonna be doing what's, the Whittier guys are doing the rooms?
Carpentry, that's it.
Yeah, they're doing, what about?
Framing,
Okay.
that's it. And some finish, finish carpentry. But the general contractor is doing HVAC. He has an electrical subcontractor, and he's doing plumbing.
Well, the plumbing was to raise the urinals, right?
Actually, the plumbing has to do with fixing the sprinkler heads.
Okay, well,
And we don't have to raise, we're taking one of the short urinals out, and leaving one for handicap. So there's very little plumbing to do.
Okay.
And then the school is doing painting and flooring. There's some areas that are being, in the bathrooms, have to be retiled, and they're gonna do lay the carpets for the offices, and then they'll do the interior and exterior painting.
so the
Also,
new
the door
door.
has to be done.
Oh, the
Entrance?
general contractor is doing the door.
Do you happen to remember what he's charging to do that?
No, it was all inclusive in the bid. The estimate by the architect was, I don't remember. It had changed from about a $30,000 door to maybe a $10,000 door. But don't quote me on that.
We still have two of those Mitsubishi.
Yeah, it turns out they can't use them.
Why?
They're just not in good enough working order.
Okay. So what are we getting in their place? Same style?
Whatever was in the specs, that's not my area of expertise.
Okay. Is there anyone in there doing any work right now?
No, the Whittier folks knocked off the end of March. They may come back, in May,
Yep.
at the end of May. They had to move on to some projects at Whittier School.
Yep.
But if they get those done in time, with time remaining in this school year, they'll come back and keep working, but then come back and do the finish work in the fall.
All right, Mike, thank you for the update.
Welcome.
Let's see, we have some appointments.
Can
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Gary.
Did we really get much of a budget update, or, because you got down here, budget update, I mean, I know you'd sent us, earlier last year, one thing, it looked like we were getting, I don't know, that probably wasn't a final. I think I'm remembering like $57,000 more than you'd last seen, or something of that sort, total from the state.
Oh, is that check?
Oh, we, that was the House version,
Yeah.
but
The governor's got the version, the House, yeah.
we're still,
So
we
that's
we
just-
use the governor's version.
Okay,
If the House and the Senate come up with more money, then we'll adjust it in the fall. But if we adjusted it every time it came out, it's.
no, that was basically
makes
my
sense.
question. I know you'd sent something out on that.
Mhm.
That's what I thought. It
Yeah,
was
their
really-
cherry
it was really
sheet-
Too early yet.
Yeah, their cherry sheet was better than the governor's.
That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
'Cause I was saying if that comes back, I'm seeing $50,000 to go back in the stab fund in the fall is what I would like to see,
Mm-hmm.
but.
Agreed.
We have to fight the school.
Well,
All right, anything else? on the
Thank
budget? Okay. All right, let's move on to some appointments that we've got here.
I'm gonna read them.
Dave, if you wouldn't mind, everyone comfortable going through just all of these at once, or do you want to pull these out? For our building inspector, alternate.
did I ask, some of these guys, a couple of them are new, I think, I don't recognize, or is he?
Oh, they're all the same.
Okay, that's, okay.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we reappoint Les Godin, building inspector, zoning enforcement officer, Glenn Closey, alternate. Gas inspector, Bill Giancopoulos, plumbing inspector, Stanley Kluzak, Kolazat? I can't pronounce
Who's
it.
that?
Kluzak alternate.
All right, alternate plumbing inspector, Mark Unger, electrical inspector. Robert Brown, alternate wire inspector, in terms to, all terms to expire March 31st, 2016.
Second.
Mark.
We have a second. Any discussion on these?
Doesn't matter. He's wired. Okay.
Yeah.
This goes to March 31st, 2017,
Seventeen.
correct?
17.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry, yeah, 17.
All right, so there's a motion on the floor to reappoint all of the aforementioned to March 31st, 2017.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, okay. Thank you and congratulations to all those reappointments. We have a request from the town clerk to approve the list of poll workers for May 9th at our annual town election. And Dave, if you wouldn't mind, we just name those individuals and let the public know all those volunteers. It's important, I think it's important they should know that they're taking time
Okay.
out.
Carol Chouinard, she's the warden for precinct 1. Star Anderson, warden for precinct 2. Etta Hallowell, warden for precinct 3. Beth Wyman, Kathleen Sachs, Alan Hallowell, Joe Bouchard, Steve Epstein, Jeanette Lang, Peter Zybel, Margaret Anderson, David Bogdan, Robert Davidson, Margaret Weaver, Diane Prescott, Diane Halopowski, Carolyn Boynton, Elaine Hatch, Barbara Hunt, Beverly Knapp, Lawrence Mintz, Arthur McDonald, Gloria McGavro, and Joseph Young.
Okay. So, first of all, thank you. I know this is a long day for these guys, and they just can take a whole day to dedicate to it, helping for our town meetings and our town elections and everything. So, town elections, so we appreciate it. So if I could get a motion to approve the aforementioned list for town meeting on May 9th. And a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All right. Thank you very much for all those individuals.
Yes.
We have a proclamation for Scott Edwards.
Yes, well, yes. for
We need to sign that before we leave, right?
today.
What you got?
Here it is. Sorry.
It's okay. I didn't want to leave it off forgetting that.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you read that for me, please?
Read it.
Whereas Scott Edward has been an elected light commissioner of the town of Georgetown for 20 years, and whereas the light department under his term has increased its primary voltage from 4.16, oh boy, KVs to 13.8, see how I got around that, KV, rebuilt the existing substation, moved the department operations to Searle Street, helped the plant transition from a regulated power supply market to a deregulated market, as well as build a new garage at 94 Searle Street. And whereas he has been a resident since 1994 and served on and been an active member of the town of Georgetown. Whereas the town of Georgetown is extremely proud and grateful to Scott Edward for his dedicated service to the town. Now therefore, the Board of Selectmen do hereby call upon all citizens to honor Scott Edward, who has worked so hard to realize such great achievements. In witness thereof, the Board of Selectmen, signed by all of us. So congratulations.
Congratulations and thank you for 20 years of service, Scout. You will be sorely missed, and we appreciate all the sacrifices you've made to help the town and over those 20 years plus. And thank you very much. Thursday evening, there is a
Thursday morning.
Thursday morning
The light department.
at the light department. What time do you know?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. There's a little going away breakfast or mimosas or something. I'll go. All right. All right, congratulations, Scott.
Mr. Chairman, could I have the floor for a minute?
What if I said no?
I'm gonna take it anyway.
All right, go ahead.
So, this is your last meeting, that's actually televised, but we'll have a short meeting before the, town meeting. I think, on behalf of the board, myself, I think we really owe you a debt of gratitude for all the hard work and 3 terms, 9 years, a long time, as you've been telling us for the last 6 months, but.
Who's counting?
So congratulations on an awesome career, and being dedicated to town. I'm sure you're still gonna be around and still be part of some of the committees, especially the Strategic Planning Committee and the Historical Commission. So, but with that, I would like to read a proclamation that we've all signed. Whereas Philip Trapani, a resident of the town of Georgetown since 2003, and whereas he has served 9 years in a total of 3 terms as a selectman for the town of Georgetown. Whereas through his dedication to the town of Georgetown, he has served on the School Building Committee, Historical Commission, Affordable Housing Trust, and as the Veterans Representative, while also serving on the Board of Selectmen. And whereas he belongs to the Georgetown AF and AM Charles C. Dame Lodge and Georgetown Education Foundation. Whereas the town of Georgetown is extremely grateful to Philip Trapani for his dedicated service to the town. Now, therefore, the Board of Selectmen do hereby call upon the citizens to honor Philip Trapani, who has worked so hard to realize such great achievements, and witness thereof this 25th day of April 2016, all signed by the Board of Selectmen. So, congratulations, Mr. Chairman.
Well, thank you. Thanks, buddy. Thanks, Gary.
Pleasure.
Careful, there you go. You don't want one, I
No, I don't. Listen, the only thing that I can say is it's been a very fun 9 years. We've had plenty of agreements and disagreements over the last 9 years. It made it interesting, and I'm, as my wife says once in a while, Phil, and she'll text me to unclench my jaw, which I have. But no, it's been fun. We've gotten a lot accomplished over in the last 9 years in town. I have seen this town really step up and make the right investments in the right areas of town, whether it be for our seniors, for our children, for active and passive recreation uses, public safety, and a whole bunch of other things that I could probably list out. But I couldn't have had as much fun and gotten all of my things that I think I've wanted to do over the last 9 years anyhow, without the help from Mike. Thank you very much for at least the last few years of service. 7 years? Oh my God! And Janet, it's been 9 with you. So, and you only slapped me a couple times that I can remember. So, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. I know I'm going to be leaving it all in good hands. I hope I left Georgetown in a little better shape than I got here with. But I'll certainly hear that when I'm done. But I believe in term limits in 9 years, and you mentioned a whole bunch of fun stuff that I've got to do over the last 9 years, and it's been a fun ride. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
you.
I can't
Thank
wait
you.
to be on the other side. All right. Okay, so our next meeting is going to be at 6 o'clock as a board at the middle high school at 6 p.m. prior to town meeting to just go over some loose ends and get ready for another successful town meeting. And then on Monday, May 9th, for the day, there's the elections, so I hope the public makes a good turnout and shows out in good force to take advantage of voting out there. And then the next meeting after that for the Board of Selectmen, which I will not be here for, is May 16th at 7. So with that, I need a motion to adjourn.
Why don't you make that motion, Mr. Chairman?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Good night, everyone, and thank you.
I should have said no.
I know.